Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Okay, we are going to be having a girl chat today, so if you are in the car, you can just literally listen to this. If you're in your bedroom, you can literally lock your phone, maybe put on like a little diffuser situation and get yourself mentally prepared. Today, I want to speak openly and candidly with you guys about self-worth. I think that this is actually something that I struggled to even make videos about in the past, in depth, I should say, due to the fact that I have always struggled with my own self-worth. I think that there are things in life that we think are similar to self-worth, which is like self-esteem, confidence, things like that. But in reality, our self-esteem and self-worth are a little bit different because self-worth really has to do with feeling worthy to just purely exist or to have love or to have nice things or to have a good life, where self-esteem sometimes is tied to our accolades and the things that we've done and how we've achieved certain success and how we've gotten better looking and how we've improved X, Y, and Z. But self-worth is a little bit deeper than that, deeper than our successes, deeper than the things that we've done. And it usually does stem from childhood. It stems from a situation that maybe happened to us, maybe just not feeling valued at a very young age, or just struggling with your place in the world. Or it could have been you dealing with too many bad relationships and not understanding what you did to deserve the disrespect time and time again. And I wanted to do an entire video today discussing these things because as someone who is finally okay and ready to discuss this in great detail because I've learned so much about myself on this journey, I'm hoping it can help someone. I think that this can not only help you fix your broken self-worth when it pertains to relationships, but also with your life, with family, with just how you view anything and everything. It's not just about relationships. I just think that we are going to touch a lot on relationships today because that is usually when it comes up. It comes up the most when we're dating or when we're dealing with family issues. So we're gonna get to that today. I hope that you guys provide a safe space for me to openly talk to you guys freely without judgment. I think that what I love about these types of videos is it's actually cathartic for me. There are times where I actually watch back some of my own videos to reflect and find peace within my own words. So I'm hoping that this can resonate with someone. And you guys know me, when I tell a story, when I share my own experiences, it's deep, it's real, it's raw, and it's emotional. So I'm hoping that you guys can relate in that way. And if you guys like this style of girl chat and just kind of being more open and honest, then please subscribe. And don't worry, guys, the podcast is coming. I say this all the time, but I'm actually in the works of getting it together. So you guys are going to have more topics like this on the podcast coming soon. So I hope you guys are excited for that. Give it a big thumbs up and subscribe down below if you haven't already, and follow me on Instagram. Now let's talk about how to truly fix your broken self-worth. When we are talking about relationships, I kind of want to go back a little bit and talk about childhood and where these things come up, because not everyone that has low self-worth had a bad childhood or had issues with their family. They could have experienced bad relationships, bad friendships, people lying, people being disloyal, just too many weird instances, or you had low self-esteem, which then ended up trickling into having just overall low self-worth. So in knowing that, I want you guys to be able to do that reflecting and say, where did this come from? And I think when I think to my own experience, it definitely stemmed from childhood for me. I think having working parents and, having a parent that's a little bit less emotional than me. I'm more of a passionate person. I like to talk things out. I like validation, I like reassurance, and I wasn't getting that growing up. So I remember when I became an adult, or even just in my teen years, when people would compliment me, I didn't believe them. And it's actually a lot easier to believe insults than it is to believe compliments, because I always found that compliments felt insincere, even though they weren't. I think that I just felt that way for a long time because I just didn't see the beauty in myself. So I think that when I was going through my own journey of helping get my self-esteem together and then eventually fixing my self-worth, it came from realizing that who I am to the core is a good person. And what really determines having an important view of empowering self-worth is knowing that the qualities that I possess that others can't take from me is my superpower and is what makes me important, not only to myself, but to others. So that is something that I had to go through. And that's kind of how I disempowered those negative voices in my head that were constantly telling me that when somebody would compliment me, that it was a lie, because it wasn't. And even if it was, it doesn't matter because you feel that way about yourself anyways. And that it's important to reflect on your past and view it as a strength, and that you were able to grow from experiences and become resilient. I have been able to see the beauty in my pain. As someone who doesn't like to harp and harp and harp, I found that feeling not important and feeling uninteresting when I was growing up actually made me a more interesting person, because I pursued heavily being liked and being desired, not only through romantic relationships, but through work, through friendships. And I showed up in ways that maybe other people wouldn't have had they not experienced feeling shunned in life. And although it's kind of a sad fact of constantly wanting to seek approval, it helped me. It helped me in life. And that's the truth. When I reflect on, because a lot of people will say, oh, pick-me's and people who are, seeking validation are never satisfied. And the truth is that isn't always true. At times, will it fulfill you? No, it will not. You need to find fulfillment in other things, but it definitely helps when you finally are being seen and recognized and appreciated, even if it meant you hopping on a table and waving your hands and being like, notice me, notice me. I now don't do that anymore because I'm comfortable in myself. But there was a time when I did that, and that's just the truth. Now, I kind of want to get into my first way to find your self-worth again when it pertains to relationships. And as someone who is a Cancer, a hopeless romantic, someone who sees the beauty in a lot of people, even broken people, I am able to not necessarily not see red flags because I see them, but I'm able to kind of disarm myself around those people because I understand that everyone has a past and a present and a future, and that it's important to allow people the ability to show you who they are before you make any judgments. I believe in the let them theory. Now, I don't know if you guys know what the let them theory is, but this is going to help you in recognizing your worthiness in dating and when it pertains to who you're going to end up with and how. When I was in my wounded feminine energy and when I was the most insecure and I felt the most unworthy, I would fight for everything in my life. I would fight for a man to love me, to see me, to hear me, to be with me. And at times, surprisingly enough, it did work, but not in my favor. I think at times you think it's working because they do hear you. A lot of people do like toxicity and they do like problematic behavior. And I was always being rewarded for being that way. I would be the crazy girlfriend who would pull up to your job and, yell at you, and it would be rewarded with them at first saying you're fucking nuts, but then a couple days later calling me, I miss you, I wish, and the cycle would continue. But in realizing my worthiness in my new life, in my new era, and feeling at peace with where I'm at, is realizing that I don't want to be in a dynamic like that anymore. Although I got what I wanted, it wasn't for very long. So the let them theory is important to implement in your life. And I'm going to kind of read to you a nice, sum up of what the let them theory is. Just let them. If they want to choose something or someone over you, let them. If they want to go weeks without talking to you, let them. If they are okay with never seeing you, let them. If they're okay with always putting themselves first, let them. If they are showing you who they are and not what you perceived them to be, let them. If they want to follow the crowd, let them. If they want to judge or misunderstand you, let them. If they act like they can live without you, let them. If they want to walk out of your life and leave, hold the door open and then let them. Let them lose you. You were never theirs because you were always your own. So let them. Let them show you who they truly are, not tell you. Let them prove how worthy they are of your time. Let them make the necessary steps to be a part of your life. Let them earn your forgiveness. Let them call you to talk about ordinary things. Let them take you out on a Thursday. Let them talk about anything and everything just because it's you that they are talking to. Let them have a safe place in you. Let them see the heart in you that didn't harden, and let them love you. What a powerful thing to read. And I think that really healed my heart in even dating. I no longer argue with people about whether I'm worthy or not. I think that that's where you go wrong in your self-worth journey altogether. When you think you are worthy, why are you arguing it with others? If you truly believe that you are something special, if you truly believe that you are something worthy of having something good, then why are you proving it? I don't need to prove something that should just be. I no longer send paragraphs. I no longer call. I no longer overextend. I no longer, beg. I don't lie. I don't cheat my way to getting somewhere. I just exist. And if my existence isn't enough, then it was never enough. Because the truth is this, guys, when you are emotionally unstable and you seek approval, validation, attention, and worthiness from someone, you might get it temporarily, but how they treated you, that was what it was. And you're trying to escape pain because of your ego. Your ego isn't allowing you to be burned in this way. And I get it because it is painful, but I promise you that when you negotiate your worth with people, you've already lost. You've already lost. So for me, I don't fight to get something anymore because it's just not sustainable for me, because it's going to end regardless. Even if the person liked my feistiness and my assertiveness and my aggressiveness in trying to get what I needed, at the end of the day, I am a woman. I am feminine. I am going to rest in that. I am not going to pursue the desire to be worth anything for you. And the more that I started just resting and allowing people to show me who they are, the more that I became more comfortable in my self-worth. I give everybody 100% of me in the beginning. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that, I'm giving them all my time and things like that, but I'm not playing games. I'm not orchestrating anything. I'm not manufacturing a fake version of myself to be liked. I am giving you me, my vulnerabilities, my pain, my love, my adoration, all of it. And if you accept it, you accept it. If you don't, you don't. It's okay with me. And I don't take it personal, but you will never get it again once you drop it, because if you don't value something, you do lose it. I think it's important that we let people show us what they want to do so that we can see what they rather do. And this is really important when it pertains to fixing your broken self-worth relationally, so that you're not anxious going into next dating steps, that you are allowing things to just be. And the most feminine, healthy thing to do is to just let things happen the way they're supposed to. The next thing in finding your self-worth again and fixing it is not wavering or negotiating with your boundaries. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys, and whenever I tell stories to you guys and share my experiences, I want you guys to understand that they are my experiences and how I live my life. And it's not me forcing you guys to do the same. It's just how I do things. I do tell people what I expect. I do tell people my boundaries and what I'm not willing to do if the topics do come up. I don't bring it up naturally, but let's just say, the topic of sex comes up. I do state the fact that I do not have sex with a man until there's something sustainable there. I don't say commitment anymore. I used to say until there's a commitment present, but now I just say until I trust you, because I think it's just more important that we still are a little bit elusive in that regard. But there is nothing sexier than a woman who does not waver or negotiate her boundaries. Once they're stated, I want you to stand on business. Knowing your self-worth is realizing that having you in that way is very special. And I know a lot of women or men can argue what is so great about sex? Stop putting it on a pedestal. Women are so overthinking about that, but it's not just sex that I'm talking about. And let's just say I'm talking about sex, right? When you reach a certain age and level in life, it is important that we view sex as something deeper than just sex. It's an emotional connection. It's sharing your body with someone. It's connecting deeply. It's being vulnerable and open with someone. And it would be weird to me at almost 27 to do that with just anybody. And I do find that I take this topic very seriously in my life. And I think a lot of men hope that they can change my mind in hopes that I'm just saying it. But I think the most important thing for me in my journey of even finding my self-worth has been standing on business about the things that I know for a fact that I do and don't want. I used to juggle my self-worth when I liked someone more or when I felt like they were meeting my expectations pretty early. And then I found that when I would give up something that I told myself I wouldn't, I always regretted it afterwards because I lied not only to myself, but they also saw that I wasn't honest with myself either. And I don't want to be that person anymore. So a huge part of what has strengthened my relationship with my self-worth has been being a woman of my word and being someone who is about what I say I'm about. I don't care how I'm perceived anymore. I think I used to really care, especially when I started tapping more into my feminine journey, guys. I was really obsessed with appearing classy, appearing modest, appearing wholesome. And if I'm being honest, it really did nothing for me if I wasn't actually those things. Because even men that I've met that are friends with me, that I know, on a deeper level that is more platonic, have shared with me that they love, pursuing the church girl or the girl who comes off as a good girl because they know that deep down those women are truly freaks, And I find that interesting because I remember when I was more on the sexier side, women would say to me, like, there's a reason why you're attracting shitty guys, and it's because you're too sexy. And I think that to a degree that can be true, but I have met women who are more pulled together, who are more modest looking, more modest presenting, who men still actively try to pursue having sex with them. So something that I've learned in my own journey is, regardless of somebody's perception or preconceived notion of me, that is not my business. I don't care what you think I am or what you think I'll do. All I care about is what I know I will and will not do. And that has helped me and carried me throughout this journey. So if somebody chooses to not see me properly, that's on them. They're going to find out. They're going to find out, oh shit, she really is that girl. She really isn't going to do that. And she really is going to be a woman of her word in that regard. And I love that I'm like that. So my self-worth has really been tied to me affirming myself that I am who I say I am. And I'm not just doing it to be liked, to be picked, to be front in line. I'm doing it because it makes me feel better. And that has helped me. Now, aside from dating and sex and relationships, I want you guys to affirm yourself in the mirror and improve your self-concept. If you are insecure, you don't see yourself as a light, as a beacon of hope for others, as someone special, your life around you is going to mirror the feeling that you have inside. All of your hesitations and reservations about yourself are going to show on the outside. When I started affirming myself, outside of my accolades, my strengths when it pertains to money, success, power, whatever, when I started having better affirmations that were more designed to improve my self-worth is when I actually started to feel it. So I'm actually going to read you guys the affirmations that I would tell myself in the mirror. I wrote them all down because this really helped me. Surprisingly enough, this really helped me improve my self-worth. So I'm going to read them to you. I have 20 of them. The first affirmation I had was, I am nurturing. I make time for people I care about. I am smart and willing to learn. I am beautiful on the outside, but even more beautiful on the inside. I am understanding. I care deeply for my animals. I am discerning. I am forgiving. I am constantly elevating and want those around me to do the same. I am comfortable in my skin. I am happy in my career, and it brings me so much joy and peace. I am independent, but I still love riding passenger alongside someone worthy. I am who I say I am. I apologize. I am feminine and masculine, all in the best ways. I am deeply passionate. I want to fix things I have done wrong. I am creative and solution-oriented. I am loyal, even to a fault. And I am humble and ambitious. Those were the affirmations I would say in the mirror every single day, and I still do. because my self-worth is something that I'm continuously working on. And it's weird reading that back even just now, even though I look at it every day, it makes me emotional because sometimes we have to affirm ourselves in ways we've never heard other people affirm us. And it's a painful realization when you realize that the compliments that you've been given majority of your life are surface level, and the ones that are deep and meaningful sometimes aren't real. And even if they are, you don't believe them because you're not in a good place to receive a good, genuine compliment, which is why having good friends and family around you is important because they will help increase your self-worth and self-esteem, but it really does come from within. And those affirmations have really improved my self-concept. When I tell myself these things, it allows me to feel like losing me is truly something that I feel bad that someone has to go through. I think in the past when I was juggling my self-worth, it was always about the other person, right? It was always about, I don't want to lose them. I'm going to die without them. I feel like incapable and all of these things. And I think that now that my self-concept has improved and my self-worth has improved, I now feel bad for people who lose me. Although I am very flawed, there are wonderful attributes about me that are worth being a part of. And when I love hard. When I give hard. And all of those things really allow me to be a pick-me to myself. You know, when they say don't be a pick-me, it's one thing to do it in a relationship, but I want to be a pick-me to myself. I want to pick myself every time. I want to pick myself every fucking time. And the best way to do that is by affirming yourself in ways that have nothing to do with money, success, power, and what you've achieved, but about who you are on the inside and how you've been able to cultivate a better version of yourself today than yesterday. So that is really what I did. The next thing that I want you guys to do to fix your broken self-worth is to ditch anxious feelings and to regulate your nervous system. As someone who is anxiously attached, I am an anxious attachment style. I'm not anymore. I think I'm more secured than ever before, but I used to date avoidant, but I also have dated anxious people as well. Two anxious people together you would think is a perfect combination, but it's not, because when you're anxiously attached to another anxious person, although you do love the validation that they give you, sometimes you can feel smothered by their energy. And I think it's important that two secured people really just end up together. That is a harmonious connection. I think that ditching anxious feelings will help you with your self-worth because you will realize that you cannot control your fate. You cannot control how things go. No matter how anxious and obsessed you become, you do not get to determine the outcome. Only God can do that. And I remind myself of that every time I get anxious. I am naturally an anxious person by nature. It is in me. I regulate my nervous system by burying myself in hobbies, working, spending time with friends and family, watching things that make me feel good, reading. I like to complete tasks, and we'll kind of get into that a little bit later, but regulating your nervous system is important. And the more that you're willing to lose others in hopes and knowing that it's going to mean that you're going to find yourself even deeper. There has never been a time where I lost someone and didn't learn more about myself in the process. Never been a freaking time. Every time I've lost someone, it got replaced with something better. And that is something that I know God and the universe is putting in my life, that there has never been a time where I lost something and gotten something worse in return. I always increase my luck. My luck and my blessings just keep increasing. And although it's exhausting at times to constantly feel like you're on a stage and performing for people, because a lot of people, you know, it's always the grass is greener, or they're preoccupied with their own obsessions with things and they aren't super involved in your life and don't care that deeply for you. I do believe that this is all building us for the day where we are truly accepted by the person who accepts themselves fully, and we accept ourselves fully too. And I think that it's important that at the end of the day, we value ourselves the most, and that we want another person because we think it would be an addition, but not because we think it's going to change our lives and completely, you know, make it so much better. I think that it's important to want to find someone who's going to make your life better, but honestly, not by much. Honestly, not by much, because your life is already good. Okay? Find true love in other things. When you're figuring out your self-worth and your journey through it, I want you guys to find love in things that have nothing to do with men or women or friends or family, but have to do with hobbies, passions, dreams, projects, and life itself. When you start a passion project. When you start at ground zero with something, like for me, I played piano growing up and I have let it go so many times. And I told myself, you know what? I'm going to buy a piano for my house and I'm going to start over. And what an incredible way to immerse myself in something new that I can fall back in love with again. There is something really peaceful and beautiful about falling in love with things and not always people. And I think that that is the beauty of life, right? Is when we're able to understand that we are multidimensional and very capable of finding a passion and an obsession in something that's actually healthy and sustainable and that we can grow in. I find that I am the most satisfied in life when I am able to truly juggle it all. And it is an art, it's a balance, it's a way of realizing that you make time for those who are priority, but until somebody has reached priority status, all of the other things in your life should be what is fueling your life and making it good. And for me, I am the most happy when I am immersing myself in the things that come first and allowing someone to gradually grow into a place where they could be a priority, but not giving people priority status right off the bat. So self-worth is about finding love in things, in passions, in projects, and in dreams, and finding out things about yourself that have nothing to do with partnership or connection. And I wanted to also just quickly touch on again the knowing the true definition of self-worth. I have it written down here. It isn't jobs, possessions, age, grades, looks, and status, but it is internal values, your contribution to society, what you think about yourself, being kind, being a good friend or family member. That is what self-worth is really about. And I think when we confuse it is when we fuck it up and when we try to control it. It is important that we don't try to control anyone or anything. That the things that we can control are the things that are healthy, and the things that we can't are not. Although we can with certain things like our career in certain ways and how our life goes when it pertains to how blessed we become, there's just certain things you can't control. And I think that that's beautiful too. Find the beauty in the unknown, right? And last but not least, strengthen your bond with yourself. Take radical responsibility of your relationship with yourself. I know that it's really difficult to have a relationship with yourself if you've always known yourself with others, even if it's just been surrounded with family and friends your whole life and you don't know what it's like to truly be alone in your own thoughts. If it doesn't bring you purpose, passion, or peace, ditch it. I don't want to feel anxious or upset or angry or disappointed. And I want to feel purposeful and intentional with everything in my life. So strengthening my bond with myself has never let me down. You never are let down by getting closer friends with yourself. It's just a beautiful, recognizable thing. And you feel the most comforted in your solitude, and you find acceptance in the lessons that life teaches you. Rather than being disappointed and angry, you just are accepting of it. You understand that there's a lesson in everything, even if it's a painful one, and you allow yourself the emotions to feel it, but also to let it go. And it gets easier with time. The longer that you accept your fate and you accept what has happened to you, the easier it becomes to pivot and move forward. Find the beauty also in nothingness. Not always are you going to have a feeling, an emotion, a moment. Sometimes it's just beautiful to have nothing going on and to just be living and breathing and existing. I have found the beauty in that. And that has helped me with my self-worth, because I think I used to always need to feel busy or happy doing something or with someone or having a moment or an experience, where now I can be able to genuinely enjoy my life for what it is when nothing is happening. And this is all a part of the process. I want you guys to look at this as a blessing and a lesson. And you will realize that forgiving yourself, forgiving others, accepting others, understanding that nothing is personal and that everything in life is really just an experience, that is the true art of detachment, and it also is the art of just understanding your life for what it is. I hope this video helped you. Remember, the universe never takes something away from you without replacing it with something better. And to trust in God and to trust in your abilities, that you having a burning desire for love, for marriage, for being a mother, for having a great life, those desires were put in you for a reason. God would never place those desires in a person. if it meant that they were never going to have them. So keep in mind that it's going to happen for you. It's just not going to necessarily be on your schedule, and to just trust and believe in that, and that he is preparing you for what is prepared for you already. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, everyone. Mwah.